With me in studio tonight, Damien, Didi and Liam. And Liam, first of all, we did 3 Manchester United games when they limped through the group stages. Just how different is the team that we're going to see tonight from the one that played so ordinarily in those group games?
Well, they were awful, Dara. We did them 3 times, and all the 3 games, home games at Old Trafford, they only scored 1 goal against Valencia young boys, and as you say, they just stuttered through the group. People are saying that the turnaround's remarkable, but I don't think it is remarkable. I just think the wrong guy was in the job in the first place. None of the players wanted to play for him. They were all very unhappy, and as you said, Solskjær coming in has brought a bit of happiness back around the place. The players are much more confident. They're playing for their manager, they're playing for themselves, the spirit's much better, and of course their results have been tremendous, and scoring a lot of goals as well. But this is the first real test, I think. I know they played Arsenal in the Cup and they beat them away, but I think this is the first real top side that they've played in Solskjær's reign, and it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. I do think they still have problems in defence, but in midfield and the forward line, they're really playing well now.
OK, well, let's look at the 2 teams. Didi, will you talk us through the Manchester United team?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. De Gea in goal. As Liam alluded to, I think their defence, Bailly and Lindelof, have fared and played a lot better since Solskjær arrived, but I feel that Ashley Young might be a weak link. Signed a contract extension for 1 year. He's playing at right back. He used to be a winger. And then I think the strong suit is the other side of the pitch, where Herrera and Matic keep midfield, hold midfield to very good players. Matic very physical, Herrera a very good footballer. And then it gives Pogba that free role. And then going forward in Lingard, you've got a player who's come up with very important goals for Manchester United and England. Martial and Rashford up top, who's we see later rejuvenated under the new manager. OK, Damien, the Paris team.
Yeah, well, the manager said before the game in the lead-up that this is Plan D. It's not a bad Plan D. In saying that, Buffon in goal, 41 now, and for me he's a shadow of his former self. Back 4, Bernat, Silva, Kimpembe, and either Carrere, who they bought from Schalke for 37 million, or Dani Alves, which is a strange one, but he did play in midfield at the weekend. So he might be partnered in midfield with Marquinhos, who again is a centre-half, but can also play that holding role, and Verratti, who's just back from injury. And up top, obviously the big talking point was Cavani out and Neymar out, but it's not a bad front 3 of Mbappe, Di Maria and Draxler. 3 world-class players. And for me, Mbappe, I think when Messi does finally hang up his boots, Mbappe will be crowned best player in the world. So I think he'll be winning Ballon d'Ors week in, week out. So it's a tough ask for the Man United defence tonight.
OK. Liam, Solskjær yesterday at his press conference was kind of getting a bit bored of being asked this constant question over the last few weeks. Do you want the thing full-time? Will you get it full-time? And he dealt with it. But I'm just thinking back to, you know, you were talking about the transformation here. Comments made by Paul Ince not so long ago that maybe he could have done this. Like, could anybody have done this with the talent that they had at the club in the first place?
Well, I think Solskjær has a decent managerial record in his home in his home country, in Norway. Yeah. When he came to Cardiff, he had a hard task there to get results because they were in such a poor state. So he didn't do himself any favours there. I wouldn't agree with Ince that anybody could have done this. I think Solskjær is good man management, but I wouldn't just give him the job just yet. He hasn't, as I said, he hasn't really had tests. He's got one tonight. He's going to have one in the second leg. He's got Liverpool to come at home. He's got Manchester City to come at home. And I think after that, the people in power at Manchester United will know an awful lot more whether they want to give him the job. But you can't fault him so far, Dara. He's been tremendous.
And there was a report yesterday, Didi, that the board at Manchester United had reportedly, already decided to give him the job, but they're not going to announce it because, as Liam said, well, they don't need to. This guy isn't going anywhere. He may be going back to Molde in June, but at the moment, he wants this thing and he wants to stay.
Well, I think the president from Molde said when he left Molde a few weeks or months ago, he said, I hope I don't see you again. Meaning, I hope you do well and you get the job full time. And I think short term you would have got, or anybody would have got a reaction, but it's gone 2 or 2.5 months now. And to have the record he has after 11 games is pretty remarkable. The fact that he may get the job may have something to do with not getting Pochettino from Tottenham, who's, I think, high on the list. But I think that the big test comes now. Liam said that they've got big games coming up. Looking forward now, which we don't really have too far ahead, but I think it's a very, very different thing to be the caretaker manager or the interim manager, which he is at the moment, to being the full-time manager, because the players will see him in a different light, because now he's come in and he changed a few things. He made everybody feel welcome and happy and confident again. You've got to look further than that. When you do get the job full-time, you've got a pre-season, you've got to bring players in, you've got to prepare a team for the new season. So far he couldn't have done any more. I don't think you can fault Man United if they were to give him the job. I think he probably deserves it. But I think the test for him as a Man United manager starts when he's got the job full time.
Yeah, but there is this 12-day period, first of all. Just if you have a look at these fixtures and this run, Damien, that they have all the way up to the 16th of March. Now, the game on the 16th could actually end up being moved depending on cup results and stuff like that. But that's... there's a series of tests there, isn't there? Massive tests.
Yeah, I think you'll know an awful lot more on the 17th of March. You know, you look at Chelsea, Liverpool, obviously the two Paris games, and then Arsenal and Man City. So they're massive games. Listen, there's no easy games in the Premier League. So I think he has done amazingly well. But I like what Liam and Didier said. I wouldn't dive in and be giving him the job. He's done amazingly well. It just shows the power of man management nowadays. Everyone talks about tactics, but he's just got a talented group of players back on board. And, you know, with reference to what Paul Ince says, I think it's completely nonsense. Not anybody could have done the job. If that was the case, you know, I'd be in Manchester right now instead of Glasgow, and I'd bring you as my assistant there.
Oh, great.
So I think he's done unbelievably well. But for me, still, you know, they say Pochettino will cost 40 million and Solskjær 8. I think still Pochettino's number one for me.
Would you still have to get a new dog as well, which you have since done since you've moved to Glasgow? Let's have a look. I'd be the assistant for sure. The Manchester United midfield, Liam, you know, we're talking about this transformation with the same group. How has this midfield changed under Solskjær?
Well, under Mourinho, he was constantly changing it. He never really went for a fixed midfield. And now he has. And this was the problem earlier in the season under Mourinho. This is Dybala's goal. Juventus beat them 1-0 at Old Trafford. And neither Matic or Pogba really do their job. And Pogba doesn't really understand a disciplined role, although in the World Cup he did it very, very well. But you see him here and Matic, they're not picking up Dybala. The ball comes in, he's free, and he puts the ball in the back of his net. And we watch this one here. Matic is left in midfield all on his own. Pogba's in the box. Fellaini, the other midfield player, is in the box. Matic is left all on his own. He's not the quickest of players. In fact, he's very, very one-paced. And just the Valencia lads just run past him, and they get on to the United defence, 2 against 2. They mess up, and United manage to clear. Now look at the indiscipline here of Pogba. He's standing over the free kick. He's not doing his job of protecting the back four. And that's Batshuayi picking the ball up, and Manchester United luckily scramble this away. Now they've got Herrera in there with Matic, and it's given Pogba the freedom to do this, which he did in the first Champions League game against Young Boys. He feeds Martial, it's in the back of the net. This is him getting up around the edge of the box, and bang. And we see him score a goal like that just this weekend against Fulham. And his goal scoring since Mourinho's disappeared off the scene has been really, really impressive. So I think Solskjær, not only has he made the players happier, but he's also given the midfield a much better shape.
I think Pogba now in double figures for the first time in his career. And Liam, just to pick up on that point, when the draw was made, Mourinho was still the manager. And look, we know the way it ended just a couple of days later. I think he was fired on the 19th. But I've seen and read a lot of reports over the last couple of days about the way the thing ended and the atmosphere. Like, the atmosphere at the club was described as toxic.
Yeah, you know, I've heard that the players were going in each day for training and kind of dreading the fact they had to go in because he was in such a foul mood all the time. And he just didn't transmit any confidence at all into any of the players. They were all playing like nervous wrecks, including Marcus Rashford, who's one of the best young players, widely known as one of the best young players in Europe. And Mourinho couldn't get nothing from him because the kid was playing with fear. And this was against young boys in that very crucial match, and this was a chance for Rashford in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Now he misses that. It actually took a bit of a bobble, that ball. But this is Mourinho turning to the crowd and his own bench, saying, how am I supposed to win games when I've got players like that? But this player is a special talent.
Yeah, for me, he's playing as the number 9 tonight, and deservedly so, over Lukaku. Like Liam just said, he's one of the best young players in the world. He's recently been voted Player of the Month in England. So, you know, I think he could be the central striker, the number 9 at Man United for the next 10 years. That's how good I think he is, and we'll obviously show you some clips now as him playing as a number 9. But I think the traits to a game, I'd take him all day over Lukaku.
And, you know, like, the opportunities that we've seen him given, and, like, you know, in recent weeks he's taken them.
Yeah, like I said, if we look at some of the clips here, you know, he played 11 minutes as the central striker against Juventus. Here he's always looking on to get on the ball, a much better link man than Lukaku, and he's involved in winning the free kick that Mata scores one of the goals against Juventus. They ended up obviously winning 2-1. Here again, Lukaku picks and chooses the times he wants to work hard. Rashford, he's like a dog chasing a bone, wins a free kick there, and they score off the resultant free kick. So, you know, even the energy, the enthusiasm he has, I think he's only 21. Again, 11 minutes, I think Fellaini got all the plaudits in this game, but for me, Rashford changed the game. The one thing I would say about him is his finishing could be better. For here, the top strikers, they place that or they dink it. There's no need for power. So the one thing, but, you know, I think he wants to improve, he's willing to improve, he's hungry, he has that obsession. And there you go again, he's coming short, he's happy to come into little pockets like that, whereas you can't say Lukaku ever really is. He's always happy again to come into little pockets here, surrounded by 5 Valencia players, but no, he'll still take it. He'll take it anywhere. And as we play it on, doesn't get it, new angle, always moving, always wanting the ball, has that freedom to roam, and ends up winning a corner from out of nothing, you'd have to say. Always hard for him to deal with, especially when he comes short again. Not afraid to run in behind, and with his pace, his blistering pace, probably the referee doesn't help here, getting in Pogba's way, but always playing on the shoulder or coming short, which is a nightmare for centre-halves to defend against. And here he has that cleverness in his movement as well. You'll see, again, little bounce ball. Lukaku, you could say, wouldn't take too much care with stuff like that. And there's a little movement here, the little check, loses Diakabi, and that's how he gets his header, his little movements. I'd compare that to Robbie Keane in the box. Always little checks, always out the blind side. You look at him again here, Diakabi, can't see him, doesn't get into a wrestling match with him, just trusts that the ball's going to come, just fill in space, and lo and behold, when it does come, he scores a great header against Valencia. So, you know, like I said, he's young, but he could absolutely be the central figure of that attack for years to come.
Well, Damien said that his finishing could improve, but it has improved since Solskjær's come.
And he's been working a lot with him.
Yeah,
so
and
we
he's
hear.
also said to I'm sure he said to the lad, relax in front of the goal, be confident, you know. Whereas Mourinho, he was probably dreading chances because he knew Mourinho had a downer on him, he didn't believe in him, and that's why the kid is performing so well.